Hey y'all, I am back and I have a really good grant this time. And when I say good, I mean good. This grant is for everybody. I know in my last video, I was little, individuals, not individuals. This is literally for individuals that got jobs and they want to say no to something at that job. And you can get a $2,000 grant to say no to something at work. It's unbelievable, right? When I really read it, and I'm like, is this true that they're going to give people money just to say no, but literally say no to say yes to this grant? As always, if you get anything of value from the video, beginning, middle, end, like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I just posted a previous grant and it is no deadline for that one. So please go and watch that one. It is for $15,000, I believe. And I'm going to say this. I get a lot of grants and I post the videos and I kind of forget after I post them, but I know that I just posted one that does not have a deadline. As always, I'm going to start off by showing the Discord. It's a membership. It's $20 a month. I put a ton of grants in there. This grant that I'm actually going to talk about today, I put in the Discord like 2 months ago. So I try to put things in there earlier. I don't do walkthroughs in there. It's grants where I just don't have a lot of time to do the walkthrough, or like I said, I get them and throw them in there. I have for-profit, nonprofit, state-specific. I have a ton of international. So for individuals that are in Africa, Canada, Australia, wherever you're at that's outside of the United States, I put those in there as well, and documents. So I'm going to quickly share the screen so we can get into this grant. And it takes, and I'm not even exaggerating, less than 5 minutes to fill this out, because I think most folks know what they want to say no to when they go to work. And I like the Discord, which is connected to the Patreon, because you get to separate everything, right? So instead of it just being a bunch of stuff that's jumbles, and you can come in here and know exactly what you're looking for. So if you're looking for-profit grants, boom. If you're looking for a nonprofit, so whatever it is, I post stuff in here. And then as soon as I finish with my YouTube videos, I post them here because it takes YouTube a little bit longer to post them on my page under the actual uploads. It's under the live section. International grants, I have a ton in here. Different documents that you might need, if it's a business plan, pitch deck, drop shipping, all of that, accelerators and incubators, just different things. This one was for Apple. I'm pretty sure the deadline has ended, but things like this where I'm able to place in here. So if somebody is into tech and they wanted to get some type of, it's not necessarily an internship because you get paid with them. However, it's focusing more on that mentorship versus just handing you the money and you do what you want to do with it. As always, I'm going to put that in a comment first, and then I do offer consultations if individuals are interested in that. I have been receiving some emails. I'm going to respond to them as soon as I can. But what I will say, if you are sending emails asking me about grant research or business questions, it's best to just go ahead and book a consultation, because that's probably what the email is going to say when I respond back, that if you want to sit down and, have a more substantive conversation about your business, or if you want to have a more substantive conversation about grants, or you want me to look for different grants for you specifically, and you don't want to join the Discord, then I would recommend booking a consultation. I will say there is a separate email if you are interested in collaborating with me on the channel, whether it's you want to be a sponsor, you want me to mention your product, things like that. That goes to a separate email address that is also in the description as well. So just pay attention to where the emails are going, just to make sure that they're streamlined a little bit more. So let me put this stuff in here. And I always talk about the fact that somebody has created a fake email address, which is moneytime with Ebony Dion, ESQ@gmail.com. And that is not me. That is somebody trying to get your money. So please, please, please pay attention to, who you give your money to. And then also, I have a small business grant playlist. I was going to say playlist that is on this channel. So if you're looking for other grants, just go through that playlist. I don't know how many videos are in there at this point, but every time I finish a grant video, I then put it on the playlist. So that's something that you can do as well. And I highly recommend doing that. So let me get to this chat. Yes, Miss Crystal. Internships definitely pay because I offer paid internships. However, most times when people think about internships, they don't necessarily think about the fact that they pay. They think about that it's free money. So that's why I wanted to say it's not necessarily an internship because that's not what it's being labeled as. It's being labeled as a cohort or an accelerator. And then Miss Samantha, I don't know if you're asking me if I have good credit or if you need good credit to apply for this grant. I'm going to say you're probably asking me about the grant because I don't think you'd be asking about my credit. But no, credit is not required for this grant. Okay, I have website and then the Patreon. This grant, y'all, okay, because I'm excited for this one. You have to be 18 years or older, but if you are in Alabama or Nebraska, yes, Alabama or Nebraska, you have to be 19. Also, actually, okay, I was about to say, let me know if y'all can hear me, but y'all put questions so y'all can't hear me because I'm using the microphone again, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But clearly, y'all can hear me because there's questions. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that. So, deadline for this cycle is August 31st at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. However, if you are not selected this round, there's another round that starts September 1st, so you can try that. Now, y'all, let me tell y'all what these questions are. The first question is, what would you say no to at work if you got this $2,000? And that's 200 words or less. So when they're asking you what you would say no to, think about, for myself in my current position, well, not this position, because I have a lot more flexibility because I have, I guess, longevity with the company and with my career. However, when I first started in my career, I would work 60, 70 hours a week because that's what everybody else was doing. I didn't want to say I don't want to work late, even though I should have been able to say no to that. And also, once you tell them what you would say no to, whether it's working late, coming in early, taking on an extra assignment, doing the not so sexy work. So one of the things that this grant has focused on is women, but men, as I've always said, the only thing they can do is say no. And I've read the rules. The rules said all individuals. And what I've realized is when these grants say, what can a woman say no to? Or, you know, we're targeting women because it seems like they say yes more at work. I disagree a little bit, only because I've been in positions where males have taken a lot of paternity leave when their wives or girlfriends or significant others, whatever, have a baby or even adoption. And what I realized is I noticed today versus when I first ever started working, more men are taking their paternity leave, right? So if you really think about it, a lot of them were probably saying no because, you know, their colleagues, i.e. males, will look at them differently because what do you mean you're going to take off, you know, your wife or your girlfriend? She should be at home with the child. So I think that's something that you might want to say no to as well, just as a man, because there are these certain expectations that a man can work later because somebody's at home taking care of the home. So I don't think it's just women that don't say no, right? So, and then also when I go back to like the not so sexy work, they always say that women tend to do more of the secretarial things, i.e. setting up the conference room, cleaning up the conference room, you know, planning people's birthdays or planning events. You normally see women on those types of boards versus you see men on those types of boards. So it's literally what will give me the confidence. Like, how would this money give me the confidence to say no and stand on it and not feel bad about it? Question one. And I don't know what's going on with my hair, but this is what y'all gonna have to get because it's just flying. Second question, if you get the money and then you say no, because you have to say no, what will you then say yes to? By being able to say no, 200 words or less. For me, if I'm thinking about it, I would be able to say yes to spend more time with my family, or say yes to, I meditate in the mornings, but maybe I want to take a yoga class after work, but the class starts at 5:30 and I'm never able to go because guess what? I'm at work until 6 o'clock. Or I want to take a cooking class, or I just want to go and sit in nature by myself. I want time between, maybe if you have children and they do sports until 6 or 7 and there's somebody that's dealing with that. I want that time between, or more time between, when the children come home. It's literally something that you are neglecting in your life in order to say yes to your job. And they are very intentional. It's your job, right? And it could be your business, because your business is a job. They're not saying that you have to be a W-2 person. It could be that with this money, I am able to say no to, again, working later, always being that person, because then you'll have somebody else in that spot. But literally think about what it is that you can say that you want to say no to. Then what can you say yes to? And then the last question is, besides money, what has stopped you from saying no? And I personally think the answers can be similar for male or female, because for myself, I think, and I'm not even thinking about me being a female with this response of what stops me. I think about the fact that I don't have the same responsibilities as other, because I don't have children. And people expect that because I don't have children, that I'm more available than, say, someone who has to go pick up their child at 4 o'clock, or even somebody who smokes. I don't smoke, right? They get a bunch of breaks at work. And the expectation is, and I say this not in my current job, they're not like this at all. Nobody cares what I'm doing because I give deliverables. But I will say, in previous roles, if I were to disappear for 15, 20 minutes because I want to go outside and take a walk, everybody's looking for me. Where is she? Why isn't she at her desk? But the person that smokes, they're like, oh, they're out smoking. And I think, again, it's just that stigma that's attached to it. So then you don't say no. And then also it could be you want a promotion, right? So you're thinking that, well, if I put in this extra work and don't say no to, things that I desperately want to say no to, then I'm going to get promoted. And sometimes that's not even the case either, because you'll notice that you're in the office doing all the hard work, and the person that ends up getting promoted, guess what? They're at happy hour with the management team. They're at the management team's homes. They're getting invited to play golf or whatever it is. But you're in the office grinding because you think that you can't say no. But then the individuals that are saying no, those are the ones that's getting promoted over you. Those are the questions that you have to answer. Now, you are judged on these answers. So it's 25% per, their criteria. And I'm going to read these to you because I want to make sure I say them correctly. The first thing that you're going to be judged on is your personal sense of awareness on how the grant will help you. So you have to fully understand, how will this grant help me? And it can't just be, I could use $2,000 extra dollars. Because remember, they truly expect for you to say no to something at your job. Secondly, understand the significance of the grant beyond monetary value and your likelihood to advocate for yourself at work or wherever. So that's the second criterion. Each criteria is weighted by 25%. Your response is reflective of your desire to receive the grant. And then lastly, how meaningful will the grant be for you? So when you're giving them your statements, that those 4 criteria is what needs to be the impact. There's going to be a total of 100 winners throughout the cycle. So I'm going to guesstimate that's 33 per cycle, since there's 3 cycles. So there's going to be 33 winners in this cycle. You can submit it in English or Spanish. And then That's it, y'all. So I'm gonna pull up the grant, but I mean, we just went through it. Do you So certified, this grant is for the regular working family person. I mean, you fit it to a T because they want to know somebody that what is it that this grant will allow you to say no to at work. So let me share my screen so we can go through the grants. Okay, so this grant is from Pure Leaf, and then I'm gonna put the link, but if you Google Pure Leaf no grants, you'll get it as well. But just so you can pull it up, and like I said, it literally takes 5 minutes to do this. Okay, so let me make sure I did that right. I did not. I was supposed to put a period dot DJA. All right. So the link is there. They've partnered with Seek Her Foundation, but as I said, I looked at the rules and it says all individuals. It did not say women specifically. However, women definitely apply. Men, I would apply. It's 3 questions, and here's me. If I were a man, but I'm not, if they're saying that the goal is for them or a person to advocate to be able to say no, this is your space to be able to advocate and say, look, men have to say yes to a lot of things for some, stigmas that women have as well. And the main thing, like I mentioned earlier, is like somebody having a child, or they expect that you're able to work late and that you don't have a lot going on and that you're going to be at the happy hour events, that you're going to go play golf. Maybe you don't like golf. Maybe you don't like happy hour. Maybe you're an introvert, and quiet as kept, I am a super introvert myself. So the thing is, you're stepping outside of your comfort zone because of this stigma attached to men, and that, they're in the good old boys club and that they go to all of these types of events, and maybe it's not your juice, right? And if you're able to say no to that, it will no longer be an expectation. So you go to the grant and here's the application. It's pretty simple. So your name, address, city, state, zip code, date of birth, email address. Here are the questions that we've already went through. What will receiving a no grant allow you to say no to? And they gave you some examples: working an extra shift, an extra project, staying late at work, 200 words or less, y'all. So you got to be concise, you got to be brief. And as I've always said, I recommend typing up your answers in a Word document first. And in that way, if it's too long, you can cut things out, versus if you put it in here and then you lose it, because there is no option to save. So once you type it, if the computer crashes or anything, you're going to lose it, versus in a Word document, you could do auto save and then, copy and paste it over. What would receiving a no grant allow you to say yes to? Get more time with your family, your workplace benefits because of you getting mental health days, your student clients receive better care, etc. And then besides financial strain, what has stopped you from saying no? Fear of being reprimanded or judged, family of cultural expectations, not seeing others in my workplace say no successfully, not feeling supported by management and saying no at work, and then career advancements, etc. And then all you do after that, either you agree for them to feature your story, is optional. However, I think if you might have an impactful story where it touches somebody else and they're like, you know what, we want to give them a little bit more money, or that story might motivate somebody else. And then would you like to receive news, promotions, and information from Pure Leaf and other PepsiCo brands? It's optional. You could say yes, no, etc. I always recommend to say yes, because you can always unsubscribe if you don't like what they're sending you. And then confirming that you're 18 or older, but then 19 in Alabama and Nebraska. Also, I don't know if I said it already, but US only. This is not a global opportunity. And that's it. So like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that. If you like this grant, because I am very excited about this grant. This is going to be one of the easiest grants that I've it is one of the easiest grants that I've posted this year. I'm going to look at the questions. Okay, as far as so Casimir, yes, I did discuss that earlier, that I don't think it's necessarily tied to just saying no as an employee, because even though you have your own business, you're still working. So what would that allow you to say no to in your business? But I think, right, that they're looking for more of the holistic, not that I would be able to hire a marketing person. I don't think they're looking for that type of answer. They're looking for more of that self-care, mental health. I would be able, I gave examples earlier. I meditate in the mornings, and quick story, most jobs that I've went to, I've had that conversation during the interview and said, I can get her at 9:30. 9 is going to be very tough for me because I need to be centered and balanced in order for me to come in and do the best job that I can for the organization. And being a salaried employee, likely I'm going to be working late anyways. And I was able to say no to being at work at 9 a.m. and they accepted it. So now I have jobs where it kind of works for me, but then they get the best out of me as well. As a business owner, I would say it has to be something along those lines, whether it's spending more time with your family. This grant will allow you to do that by, and you have to fill in a blank what that is, right? It could be, I don't know if you have independent contractors, if you have employees, what your staff looks like. But yes, if you're a business owner, you can apply as well. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Like I said, this grant was going to be super easy. That's why I wanted to put it out there, because I'm going to be traveling again. So I'm trying to get grants out to hold the channel until I am back in town. But if I don't have any other questions, I want to thank y'all for taking time and watching this grant with me. I want to thank y'all for watching it later. If you're watching it later, subscribing to my channel, giving me comments, because the page is growing. I'm almost at 10,000, and I'm going to have like a super party, whatever they call those things. And it's going to be some announcements attached to that as soon as I hit that goal. And I'm thinking that it's going to happen within the next week or so. So I'm excited. So please share, tell people to subscribe, which will help me get there faster. But other than that, I want you all to enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you all next time.